All right, you guys, I got the parts that I needed, so hopefully this is gonna fix my dryer issue, and if not, we're gonna have to give my friend a call and see what he can help me out with. But I think this is gonna be it. I really do. Let's go install them and fire up the dryer to see if we can get it going. This guy wants $5,000 for that truck. You guys think it's worth it? All right, so we made it here back at the shop and got the parts with me. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna install this fuse that goes right up in there. And then we're gonna install the relays. Let's take one at a time, step by step, looking at the pictures that we took yesterday and put this back together so we can fire it up. So I do remember that this one went upside down in here. So let's put it in where it goes. All right, so we got the first one done. That was super simple. I'm sure you guys have dealt with stuff like this in the past. Now it's time to put the relays in, and we're gonna look at the pictures to make sure that everything goes back where it was. There goes number one. And then here in the box we have the second one. It shouldn't be difficult since we have a couple of pictures to go back and see how this was in there. All right, so here we go with picture number one. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put the screws that go in here to screw the breaker in, or to screw the relay in there first. And once it's mounted, we're going to go one at a time until we have all four or all the wires that go on their correct spot. Okay, so here we go. The first thing we're gonna do is screw this bad boy in there. This is gonna be with the Phillips screwdriver. All right, you guys, so the new relays come with their own screws. So that's what we're gonna use. We're just gonna use the screws that come available with the new relay. So I got the top three wires. They look like they're the ground, coming up to the one that's on the top left corner of the relay, and it's nice and tight. So now this one, according to my picture, goes there. These two on the right go right there, and these two on the left go right there. So let's go ahead and screw those in, and then we're gonna move over to the second relay. So pretty much what just happened is I squeezed the gap in between these corners right here because they're too wide to go into this square that's in the relay for the screw when you tighten it in. So you just gotta lightly squeeze them together and they're gonna fit right in. So that was what I was doing with the other one. Once you loosen up this screw right here, they should be able to go in from underneath. All right, so once you have both of them in there, you just tighten it up and you should have the first relay ready to go. All right, so according to my picture here, this wire right here goes on the bottom left. That's for the bottom right, for the top left, and for the top right. Put all the wires where they go, screw those in, and then we're gonna fire it up to see if that does the trick. This is not time consuming, but I suggest that you do take your time and you make sure that you put everything back the way you found it. And while you're at it, if you can clean up around your press for all that dust buildup that goes in here, you should probably do that too while you have this open, so that you make sure that everything in here is breathing well. And that's probably why most of these things go bad, because they don't have good ventilation and they end up going bad. So it's good to keep up the maintenance with your machine. Make sure you clean the filters, make sure you air out all the dust that builds in there over time, at least once a month or every 2 months. So don't let it go past that time. And sometimes these issues happen over time anyways, but it just helps everything work for a little bit longer. All right, you guys, everything is back the way it's supposed to be. We have the relays in there. We have that fuse in there. Now let's put this back together. Make sure everything is good. Everything looks good. So let's close it up and fire it up. Yep, that was my tripod and that's my light setting. So let's go over to the brake panel and let's fire this thing up because I can't wait to see this go. So we labeled it number 23. Power. Man, you guys don't ever forget to turn off the breakers when you're gonna work on machines like this, whether it's a flash unit, if your machine has power, or if it's gonna be your dryer, or basically anything at all, period. It's always safer to work on it when it's completely shut off. All right, so we don't wanna burn those. Here we go, moment of truth. Cool. So this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna turn on the elements, run it for a little bit, and then see if I can control the temperature to where it fluctuates up and down, and it remains at that temperature where I set it to. So that was really the main issue that I had with this dryer. Now that we have it on, we're gonna fire it up and then just kind of see where we're at. Alrighty tighty, so I had this thing on for about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. First time I took this apart, you guys saw that I replaced the relays and the fuses, and that didn't work. I left the dryer on for about 30 minutes, and the temperature stayed at 350 on the panel, but the actual element was reading 740 and above, so that never worked. And what I did here is I took off the side panel and this metal sheet cover that was right here on the side, and some of the what do you call this, some of the insulation that's on the side down here. And what I noticed here is that they had this rod just kind of sitting there, like they stuck it inside of that insulation. And what happens is when you're trying to set the temperature on your dryers, that metal rod basically reads the temperature of the panel. And from what I've seen in the past with flashes, is that metal rod usually goes in through the panel like this, like there's a hole, and it'll slide all the way in there. So whoever took this apart last time, they kind of left that hanging out just kind of wherever. It usually goes in through the sides. So I'm gonna take out this bottom part from the front and see if I can find where that goes into. Let's hope for the best and let's get this thing running because we need to get work done. All right, so pretty much this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna continue to take this apart to see if I can find where that metal rod goes into. I doubt that it goes on this side, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out this front cover and see if we can slide it in there somehow into the place where it's supposed to go. That's not something that you just left hanging to the side, like a part that doesn't help the machine work like it's supposed to. So sometimes it's good to take your machines apart to know what's wrong with them, especially if you bought them used. It really wasn't giving me a lot of issues in the past, but now it is, and I found that those relays were kind of burnt out, so I'm glad that I changed those. And now that I found this problem, everything should be running nice and smooth. Let's cross our fingers and hope that this is it. I'm gonna go ahead and figure that out, and once I find where it goes, I'm gonna let you guys know. All dryers are different, but they work kind of like the same unless they're fired up by gas. This one is with the elements, so if you have one similar, hopefully this helps you with some of the issues that you have, if you have any issues with your dryer. All right, you guys, I fired up the machine. I haven't turned on the element yet, and that little metal rod that I told you guys that goes in to the element panel, there was really nothing anywhere around, like on the sides I opened up this side, you guys saw that. I opened up the other side, and there was really nothing or anywhere where we can put it in. So I can kind of understand why they put it here on the side before, but it just doesn't convince me. So what I did is I ran it through the bottom, so you guys can see it coming out right there. It's poking out, watch. I know it's hard to see, but it's poking out right there. So pretty much what I wanted to do is I wanted to read the heat off of the element, not from the side, which was what they had in the past. All right, so I'm getting ready to turn on the heat, and hopefully it reads something. So as you guys can see, I stuck it into there. That's the line. And now I'm gonna turn on the elements, and hopefully it reads the temperature so that it can maintain the temperature that I set it to. All right, so let's fire it up and see what happens. So the elements are on, and I'm gonna set it to, well, it's already set at 350. So I'm gonna just keep an eye on the temperature with the temperature control gun, and hopefully it stays there by reading what the rod is supposed to be reading. And if not, then I really don't know what to do after this, guys. I really hope that this works. So a lot of people ask me, or have asked me, excuse me, a lot of people ask me or have asked me how my shirts get cured, or how do you cure the ink. So you guys just saw that shirt run through the dryer. So basically what happens is those elements remain at a certain heat, and we like to keep it at 350 because we can also control the speed of the belt. And by controlling the speed of the belt and the temperature, we let the shirt come through the dryer and it starts gaining heat. So once it reaches about 320, which should be somewhere around here, it'll retain that heat and possibly go above just a little bit more for a couple more seconds. And that's how the ink gets cured for plastisol. So if you guys never seen that, I thought it would be cool to run a shirt while I had this open. So let's keep going with this. I just wanted to show you that. All right, you guys, so I am lucky enough to have Soul Prints like 2 blocks away from here. So pretty much what I did is I called Juan to see if he had an extra one of these temperature metal rods, and that's the one that he had, and this is the old beat up one that was in the machine. So I think for the last time that's gonna do the trick. So after this, there's absolutely nothing else that I can do to figure out what's going on here. So let's go ahead and put that part in there, which basically just goes on the side of the panel, and it goes into the temperature control where the positive and the ground goes. So let's go ahead and put that in there and then fire it up one last time. Cross our fingers and let's hope for the best. Jeremiah's back from vacay and he's acting like he's working, but he's really not.
How rude.
You're just not, bro. All right, you guys, so listen. I got that temperature rod or metal rod. I don't know what it's called, but I got it in there. I fired up the machine and it still went all the way up to 700 and like something, right? The elements went all the way up. So the last thing that I'm gonna try is I'm gonna cut off these wires because the tips or the ends, they look like they burned out on this wire right here and on that wire right there. So these wires, one of them goes to the relay that I swapped this morning, and the other one goes to this relay right here. So I'm not sure if that's gonna do the trick, but that's absolutely the last thing that I can think of. And after this, I'm gonna make some phone calls. So it took me the whole day to figure this out, and I couldn't fix it.
What happens if you're slow?
I'm slow?
Hmm?
You know how many places I had to go to find parts?
How many places?
Too many.
Damn, that's a lot.